bringing you the most important tool in your reading arsenal.
That's right.
Divination paper.
That's right. Divination paper, otherwise known as tissues. Must have. Must have if you are a budding tarot reader or life coach, or just that friend that someone, you know, turns to for a listening ear. Make sure you encourage boxes of tissue because, or at least a good sleeve or a napkin or something. Keep it handy because as you do shadow work with folks, you know, they tend to shed a tear or two. I've had sort of the, wait, Grymm, you do usually live stream this from Gussy and Grymm, right?
I have been.
Okay. Because it says that I'm the only one here.
Oh, well, I'm working on that right now.
Oh.
You just bear with me. I'm doing the sharing and the tagging. I'm getting ready to
Oh.
do some.
Well, because I do believe Susan is going to be here. But, anyways, now I forgot what I was... Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say. There we go. Just wanting some... Just wanting to know I'm not speaking into the void.
Oh, gosh. Quiet.
So glad to have you all here. Thank you for joining me for 420-ish Tea and Tarot. I'm Gussy, and my husband, Grymm. Hello, Grymm. He's on the other side of the room waving hello. He's got some work to do.
I'm shy today.
You're shy today. Yes, I'm sure everyone is going to believe that.
I peopled twice.
You peopled twice. You did. You did. Poor fellow ran to the store this morning to pick up an order because we are in the middle of that winter blizzard.
No, not in the middle.
We're at the beginning stages of that winter blizzard that is enveloping parts of the United States. And so, of course, everybody's out buying their last minute things. So, of course, we're doing that too. And poor Grymm, one of the things that we always pick up around this time of year, those of you know, this time of month, I should say, those of you that know me know I have asthma. So, at least for now, I'm working on that, you know. But I still use my rescue inhaler, and I'm down to like 14 puffs left on that one. And so I've been, you know, since we've moved into this area again, and I'm adjusting to the flora and fauna, plus being in the old church a lot more. I mean, there's a lot of old things here, including Great, who lives in the basement apartment. But that's another story for another day. But I don't know where I was going with that. Fuck, I hate it when I do that.
2 trips
2 trips
to the store.
Oh yeah, so long story short, long-winded Gussy story short, poor Grymm had to go back a second time because he forgot to pick up my rescue inhaler. And if it had been just about any other thing out there, I would have said it's okay, we can wait, but it was that. And so
it was...
He had to go back out.
I know I'm not on camera today, but I do have to come over here. So my first trip, it's about 12 miles. I'm driving there, and the roads are nice. There's nobody out. It's kind of cool. I'm in the countryside, so I don't expect much traffic.
You're looking for deer.
Looking for deer. I start to roll into the town where the store is, and it's starting to pick up in the traffic and whatnot. And that's when I noticed that there's a chain of power company vehicles.
Oh.
About 12 or 15 long, parked across the street from the school there in Jonesville.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, what's going to go on here? Okay, fine. So as I get closer and closer to the store, though, more and more traffic. It's getting thicker and thicker, and then it becomes this nexus around the parking lot.
Wow. Yeah, I'm sure everybody was running to get their provisions.
The second trip, that's where I started getting a little worried. On my way back to the store, that's when I saw all of those trucks on the move.
Were you scolding yourself?
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. There was probably pushing 25 to 30 electric vehicle trucks, either parked or on their way to be parked somewhere.
Right.
It was crazy, and that was just on that road. They're expecting something.
Well, here we are, and I know that there are strange and wonky weather patterns pretty much all over the place.
This is our 78, I guess.
Oh, it's like 1978.
It's like it's being compared to having that potential.
Oh, wow, because that was rough. That was power outages and stuff.
And feet. We're not going to get the accumulation, but we're going to get the snow and wind, or we're going to get the wind and the drifts.
Ooh.
But we're in a pocket, in a little vortex.
You know what? I realize as we're talking about this, that talking about that 1978 blizzard is a bit of a trigger for me, because I remember my whole neighborhood lost power. And someone had a baby that was just a few doors down, and it was like these below zero temperatures, and we had a generator. My dad was one of the only people in the neighborhood that did, if not the only, I think. And so he went around on his little John Boy tractor. He had built this little makeshift enclosure around it so that he could heat the inside off the engine and have this little encapsulated, it looked like a little tiny combine for those of you that are farm girls, but he went around to each of the neighbors and one by one gave them rides over to my house in the tractor, in the wagon that he had in the back. And as long as they could endure it from their house to our house, we had a warm place for them to stay, and we had warm food.
Your dad had a generator, didn't he?
Yeah, he had a generator. Yeah.
Right. That's pretty uncommon for back in the day.
Well, it was kind of necessary, because out in the country like that, especially in Ohio, because there's a lot of flat farmland. Those snowdrifts can take things right down the power lines. We were living
in Westport, Connecticut that winter. And the only thing I really, truly remember about it, I was only 8 years old. 78. Wow. Whoa. I was only a wee little 8-year-old.
It was frightening.
Oh, yeah. But during that whole process of the storm and the wind and the rain, and the snow coming down, my dad was out there in that, blowing all of the snow that he could off the driveway and sidewalks and into our backyard.
Yes. That's where he did that.
That's where he did that. And then after the storm was over, he spent hours and hours and hours blowing all the snow in our yard, our neighbors' yards, and all of that into a huge mountain of a pile in our backyard. And between layers, he was hosing it down with water. More layers of snow, more water. Before long, it was about 10 foot tall and as big around as our backyard.
I love that story. I remember that one. You built an igloo system like that for the kids, our kids, our first batch
of kids.
When they were younger, I remember that's one of their favorite memories.
Snow high and deep.
Yeah, like igloo and a tunnel, and
so that's what we did. So that snowstorm from that blizzard was still in our backyard in July. That's when the last of the tunnels sort of collapsed and there was no more play to be had. It was a blast. Oh. I want another one.
Your dad knew how to play. It sounds like you might be getting something here. It sounds like snow is on the way.
We'll see.
It's snowing outside now, but it's not too bad. I can still see across the street. So that's how we judge things, right? How far away you can see in front of your face. Otherwise, life would slow down on foggy days, on rainy days, on snowy days. Anyways.
There's some people out there in this weather today, though, that need some prayers.
There are people out there that need some prayers, and so that's one of the things I want to...
40 states.
40 states have wonky weather,
Have snow.
have snow. 40 states have snow.
Olympic Peninsula had a blizzard.
Yeah.
Conditions.
Yeah, it's been the strangest thing. Grymm and I have been talking about it. Where we live right now in Michigan, it's unheard of to have green grass in the middle of January. But sure enough, there's green grass growing, and in some place there's still green plants that are thriving in this weather because it really hasn't gone below freezing.
I've been out in a windbreaker.
Yeah, you've been wearing a windbreaker when you take Callie for a walk, so that's unheard of for Michigan at this time of year. And people have been teasing us that we brought our Washington weather here. While at the same time, out in Washington State, where we used to live on the Olympic Peninsula, they've had blizzard-like conditions. And they're not ready for that sort of thing because they hardly ever get snow like we get here.
There was actually a scary situation out on Center Valley Road, I guess, where people just couldn't drive, and it was backed up for hours.
They couldn't drive?
They couldn't, whiteout conditions.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's scary.
It's pretty bad.
That is scary. Alrighty, I'm going to say hello to some people, but I got to take off my glasses to see because, I'm getting old.
Kimmy King says the trees in Wisconsin were starting to bud. Says the magnolia.
Yeah, our magnolia out in front of the church is budding. Okay. Let's say hello to Victoria Williams. Hello, hello. Hello, Michelle. Hello, T. Hello, Terry. Well, I'm glad you're here. If you can't stay, I understand that, but mwah, love ya. Thank you for joining us. Susan says she can't picture you being shy. Well, isn't that the thing? Deb Kirkland is here. Hello, hello. Brandon is here. He's going to London tomorrow. The fox is on the prowl. Susan says Grymm is such a great man. Good afternoon, Kimmy King. Hello, Jane. Nice to have you. She and I have just recently started chatting and getting to know each other a little bit. And it's always nice to have a new name to recognize in the group. A new person to get to know and love. Let's see. Utility trucks for other states. I think 5 or 9 states on standby for power outages. Yeah, I haven't let my brain think ahead of what happens if we have a power outage here. Because we don't have a generator or we don't have our diesel heater anymore. It's on the bus.
And this old church get cold real quick.
This church will get cold real quick. So we gotta hope. Okay, so Kimmy said her mom got lost out on the road and dad had to go find her. Yeah, I seem to remember that my dad was going out to find people and there was some concern a few times because he was gone extra long. And so like the men that were already at the house were worried they might have to go out and search because maybe, something happened. But luckily at that time, my dad made it through and everything was fine. It's funny. I'm thinking of that memory because that 1978 blizzard is one of the strongest memories I have of that house. And that's the house. If you joined me on 420 Tarot last week, I think it was last week. Maybe it was Monday. I don't freaking know.
I think it was Monday.
We told you the story about going to my hometown down in Ohio. And I had a really magical encounter with the man that bought the house after my father and mother both passed away in 1986. And so here I am thinking again about that house. I remember staring out that living room, that front room window, the big bay window, and there was just it was just white everywhere you looked. And it
really wasn't that big of a window.
No, but in my mind, it's this big window. So I'm looking at it, I guess, from the eyes of a 10-year-old.
Winter of 78 for everybody from the Midwest.
I don't think they can hear you, baby.
That winter of 78 from pretty much the Midwest to the South, all the way to the East Coast to Maine. There's people that is a sentinel, what do you call that? A touchstone winter in their lives when they get to comparing winters Well, it's not the winter of 78.
It's one of those anchor memories,
it,
right?
Yeah, it
Yes.
really is. So many people that we know can tell stories of the winter of 78.
Oh yeah, we all, if you were alive and like old enough to think and remember things, and I don't mean that disrespectfully,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm saying.
Sentient.
Once you're sentient and thinking and remembering, yeah, if you were alive and sentient, you remember 1978 blizzard if you were living here.
Yeah.
If you were living, I don't remember where it started, but it was from here all the way to the East Coast.
It was another one of those storms that started on the West Coast, but it really picked up speed coming down the Rockies.
Right.
And
right.
pretty much the closer to the East Coast it got.
Yeah, and I do remember people died.
But, oh yeah, there's documentaries about it. But what I find so humorous, and my whole point behind this, is I can remember stories that my grandpa used to tell when I was just a little guy sitting on his knee. I remember the winter of 23.
Yeah. Oh my God, we sound like that now.
But one of the biggest memories...
I used to go to school uphill one way and down the other,
one
5
of the
miles.
Stories that stands out, Grandpa used to tell me as a young man, in the deepest, darkest, coldest parts of winter in South Dakota.
Oh boy.
They had to bring their pitchforks and other shovels and things with wooden handles into the house, into the cabin. Because if they left them outside, the next morning they'd be so frozen, and when they'd go to use them, the handles would snap.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that makes sense.
That's cold. So
yeah. Well, and I'll bet you there was more than one handle that ended up getting burned in a fire. In the fire to keep warm, because I know that sometimes there was I mean, depending on how long those storms can go. So you know what? Let's just do a little bit of let's just do a little healing.
No repeat of 78.
Yeah, let's just do this. If you're inclined to join me, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to do, I don't know, we'll just let spirit guide us, but you know, I want to send out protective energy to those that, you know, need protection. Now, I know the universe has a greater plan, and I know greater acts of nature like this. You know, some things can't be stopped, right? But I think that with enough positive intention and focus on, you know, keeping your wards up and keeping yourself safe and keeping your family safe, I think it amplifies the potential outcome to be a positive one, if that makes sense. The more you stay focused on the positive, the more positive things will be. And so try not to let yourself go down a deep dark hole if you're one of those areas that is bracing for this winter blast. I know that, you know, we'll get through. We'll get through. All right, let's just see here. Woo. Breathe out first. Another in-breath and breathe out a few more times. Just let out all that energy that no longer serves you. Breathe out the extra breath.
Today's a double push.
Today's a double push day? Okay. Grymm says when you breathe out and then give it a little extra push at the end. There's always a little bit extra breath to give, so give that a try. Breathe out. That little extra push from your diaphragm, from the depths down there. Give it a shove. Push out that extra air and allow that space to be filled with that beautiful white light, iridescent energy. Let it fill every space, every cell. And as you're allowing those breaths to come in and those breaths to go out, remember that each breath in is important. Yes, it's life-sustaining. A lot of times we think about that breath being the important one, but they are equally important. So don't just mindlessly allow that breath to go. Mindfully use it with the intention of sending out that peaceful, calming energy that you are wanting to build, that's what you are doing. You're sending away the energy that isn't needed for this calm space. Let it go. Someone else can use it. Let the universe transform it. Let the universe take it back to neutral. And so allow that healing energy to just roll around. And if you know you have a sore spot in your knee or on your elbow, in your neck or in your back, pick one spot, and with your next in-breath, imagine that white glowing ball of energy, that in-breath just to go right in your mouth and right down your windpipe and right to the spot that hurts. Allow it to glow there. Allow it to be there. Allow it to shine light on the dark, damaged, decayed, and dying cells that they're no longer serving a purpose, not a positive one. Allow them to go so that you can grow some healthy cells there. Yes, we know some damage is irreparable, and I know that that is true. But we can do what we can do, and you've got nothing to lose. So give it a try and try to believe, because your healing is in your hands. This weather that's happening, folks, weather patterns are going to be wonky like this from here on out. Nothing really should come as a surprise at this point. I think that one by one things are becoming, more out in the open, more seen than unseen, and this is healthy, although it's very scary. And I know that we go into this, winter blizzard, Arctic blast. I know we go into it with some trepidation. I mean, we have people around the globe that we love. And it certainly isn't just here that's being affected. I know other places around the globe are having other issues that are shaking the very core of their foundations. So while you're breathing in this positive energy and you're exhaling energy that can be sent back to the universe for recycling, imagine just sending that out breath in a loving embrace around the world, that anyone who happens to need it right now, who's scared, who's shaken, who's worried, who's anxiety-ridden, who needs an extra hug, let them feel the alleviation of that stress, if even for only a moment. Let that energy just permeate the globe. There's strength in numbers, and here we are. Asking for protection from our Mother, Father, God, Goddess energy, that divine source connection that we are all part of. I ask for the protection and guidance from our ancestors, the knowledge and wisdom from our own past lives, the insight and wariness of others from other realms, such as the fairy realm, realms we cannot see with our mortal eyes. We can just feel them with our heart. We ask for the insight and clarity of our animal familiars, those that have crossed over and those that are in our care and in our love right now, sitting next to us. They're here along with us on this journey, as are some of the plants that we work with and the crystals that we admire and love. We welcome all of that positive energy into this space so that we can take a healthy next best step, so that we can share our abundance of light with other people. There's so much shadow out there right now. We just need to keep shining. And we're doing it. And don't be afraid, because this is what we've been asking for. Growth often hurts, and this is no different. Sometimes growth means loss, and this is no different. But I ask that a loving, protective light be placed around and within each member of this community that's participating in this blessing right now. That we may continue to shine our light and envelop our community in our light. That we may all move forward in 2024 in happiness and in health and in abundance. And so it is. Gosh, I just love working with those ancestors. We have such a really great group of ancestors, and I did a few readings earlier today before 420, and I connected with a couple new ancestors because these were some. One was a repeat, but one was a brand new read, and it was just really delightful to connect with some new energy that way from the other side, because they all have their own unique stories and their own energy signatures, just like we do. And, I can almost feel sometimes when we are gathered here, it almost feels like a hug around me when we call them in. I can feel their closeness, and it just feels very warm and loving. And I don't know if anybody else out there experiences that, but if you do, please say something, because I know a lot of you do experience interactions with your ancestors and spirit guides. So let me know how you feel. It's different every time, but when I do 420 a lot of times, and I do a blessing like that, I just feel this comforting hug, like, yes, you're doing this right, you're doing this, this is what you need to do, and this is what some folks need to hear, some folks that are joining Grymm and I on this wackadoo journey. I mean, who knew we'd be alive during Armageddon? I mean, literally, but really. So, yeah, it is Friday, what is the date today, the 12th? I'm losing all track of time because we've been having a hell of a time with our email. Is it called server or app, or what is it?
Our newsletter service.
Our newsletter service. Yes, that's what it is. We've been having a hell of a time. We put people in a list and, say we want to send to this group of people this email, and we'll put, the check. We know exactly who we want in there. And then we send it out, and like 3 people get dropped off the list and don't receive their email. And this has been going on for a while. So Grymm has been diligently trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And That's why he's not over here with me talking right now, because he's trying to get things all ported over to a new... He's raising his hand. Yes, young man in the back. The one with the hat.
The one with the hat. I have to acknowledge some magic that took place.
You've got magic? A story of magic?
While you were doing that meditation grounding.
Okay.
Prior to going to 420 today, the weather alert was telling us that over the next 48 hours we're going to have upwards to 8 inches of snow and winds of up to 50 miles an hour.
You might need to speak up.
I don't think so.
Okay.
While you were doing that blessing, I refreshed the page because I wanted to get the most accurate or the most recent radar readings. And as I did that, all of the snow alerts went away.
What?
At no point during the next 48 hours are we going to accumulate any more than about 6 inches, and the winds aren't going to be anything more than about 20 miles an hour in a region around us.
Really? Well, thank you for the protection, everyone. Isn't that lovely? I hope that that you also receive that protective energy, because we certainly created it as a group. And yeah, so make sure you get you some, because that's wonderful. I mean, I love snow, so I'm glad we're getting some, but the subarctic temperatures and the thought of going without power, and nope, that is no fun. I'm just glad we're not in the bus this winter, because that's also not fun.
We're under an advisory still, though.
We're still under an advisory. Yeah, I'm not surprised. All right, I am shuffling the card. The cards. Oh, by the way, today's topic wasn't really supposed to be about this Arctic winter blast and the blizzard of 78. That was just a byproduct of maybe smoking a little too much weed before I pressed the live button. However,
It's all turning to rain.
It's all turning to rain.
East of us is all turning to rain, except for where you would see the lake effect snows along.
So there's still lake effect snow.
There's still lake effect snow. We're in the snow for about another 10 to 12 hours, and then it's all rain.
Wow.
But everything east of us that was going to be really bad is going to be a lot of rain. So that's where we need to focus. Let the water flow.
Let the water flow.
Let the water flow.
Right. You're right. Let the water flow, because Grymm said that miraculously the weather update now says that there's not going to be as much snow and wind, but it's going to turn to a lot of rain. So
areas that we're expecting rain are going to get a lot more too.
Areas that were already expecting rain should expect even more. So let's think about that just flowing. That energy needs to keep flowing, because we don't need to have flooding, because that's its own thing. But magic, there's always a price, right? There's always a price.
And we're paying the price for what we've done to this planet.
Alrighty.
That is one thing you should touch on, is when we do these magic acts that affect things like this, if you can acknowledge that you're affecting the weather in your local area, you have to acknowledge that you're pushing that bad weather somewhere else.
Yep, that's very true.
You're not making the bad weather go away.
Yeah, Grymm is pointing this out, and it's funny because Callie jumps up on the bed, a card pops out, and he starts saying this, and I'll tell you what he said. He said, one of the things you have to remember as a witch is when you speak words and ask that the weather blow over your house, or blow away, or you put yourself in a protective bubble, that weather is still happening. It's just not going to happen where you are. So you're in essence pushing it away to somewhere else. So somewhere else will be affected. And so that's kind of what Grymm is pointing out, that there's always that measurement that gets taken. There's always that
Balance.
There's always a balance, right? So, yeah. Anyhow.
That's why I said let it flow versus...
Let it flow, right? And then, guess what card, Grymm, your favorite one, is the one that popped out, Temperance.
Oh, yay. God, that's a popular one.
This one is coming out all the time to remind us that we're in control of what we manifest. You know, we really are. I mean, if you think about how many people right now, I mean, I saw the people outside, they're frightened of this storm that's coming. And, you know, I feel like that really pulls it in a certain direction. But if enough of us feel like maybe it won't be that bad, maybe it'll just kind of, you know, dissipate, then I feel we can affect weather. I don't always get out and do like a friggin' rain dance or anything like that. Sometimes it's just a matter of where you put your focus and the words you choose to say. Alchemy isn't always about having the perfect spell work, having the perfect rhyming words, the perfect agents, the perfect reagents. It's not all about having the most beautiful cauldron. Sometimes it's just about speaking the right words into existence, and that also flows into what my topic kind of was supposed to be today. I think I said the topic was I have no idea. And I thought a lot of you would think that meant that I have no idea what we're going to talk about. But that's not exactly true, because if that were true, I would have put what? I would have put hashtag as the crow flies, right? That's what I say. When I don't know what Spirit and I are going to chat about or what Grymm and I are going to talk about, I say as the crow flies. But today, the topic is something that I felt it's been kind of coming up in some of the readings I've been doing lately. And so that usually warrants a reason for me to mention it. I have no idea. A lot of us are finding ourselves feeling like, I wish I hadn't put that Temperance card, feeling like we need to control everything. We need to control the amounts of everything that we're, how much we're spending on food. We need to control how much is going toward gas. We need to think about how we spend our energy now, because there's just such an amplification of, I guess, the negativity, the negative forces out there. I can feel them like pushing right at the door. You know what I mean? But I often keep them at bay. Grymm and I work pretty diligently at that. And I know a lot of you do too. We could really let ourselves go down some deep, dark hole. And sometimes when you're in that process of deciding, am I going to dive deep on this one, or am I going to just pretend it's not really happening? When you start to choose to dive deep, sometimes you can feel, even choosing to do it feels out of control. So now you're going down this slide and you don't know where you're headed. It's a deep, dark hole, but you're going. And you try to hold your, hands out on the sides and maybe put your feet down to stop or slow your progress. But it's out of your control. And so the concept of that is so unnerving to some people, because we like to say that we're in control of things. When we're in control, we know what the outcome's going to be. And when we know what the outcome's going to be, then we can plan our next step. But you see, the universe is asking us to trust. The universe is saying, you know what? You might not understand why everything is happening. And you might not need to understand why you feel a certain way. Certain things are kind of unfolding. You don't need to know every detail. Sometimes you just need to say, I have no idea, and let it go. when we're always looking for the perfect measure of things, the perfect amount, the perfect time, we often sell ourselves short. When we go with the flow, as Grymm was mentioning that we should do with this flooding rainwater headed our way now. Now we don't have to worry about the snow, but now we got to worry about the flood. So here we go. But as we do over the next few days, let's think about that flow. Even in the ice cold weather, you know, water is still present. It's just present in a different form, right? So let it flow, let it go. Let's not hold back. Let's not have to have all the answers. Let's be okay with just taking our next best step. And the way you can judge if you've taken your next best step or not is if you take that next step and you feel safe and you feel happy, relatively happy, if not downright happy, then you've done your best. You know, you've chosen not to stay in some dreary state, and you're choosing to move forward. And in some cases, that's all we can ask for. Yeah, don't wait for the perfect measure. And I know someone really needed to hear that. And I know sometimes when I do readings, you know, spirit just sort of talks, and I don't always remember, or even I'm sort of listening out here while this part of me is doing the talking. So it's sort of hard to focus on two things at once like that. And there's a lot of information coming in. There are a few of you that have been more in touch with your ancestors than ever before. It feels like you maybe made a commitment to yourself that after the first of the year you were going to really try to connect, not just talk about it, but actually do it. And I keep saying, this is one of my favorite things. I know it's my grandma Susie, but I see stuffed cabbage rolls. That was such a big deal in my family this time of year. They were a special item that only got made once in a while, and it was when the sisters got together and made them. It was a big hullabaloo. Bunches of those things went to all sorts of cousins and aunts and uncles. They made so many. Yeah, so as we go through this weekend, pat yourself on the back a little bit. And know that you don't have to have every answer. It doesn't have to be completely in your control all the time. Sometimes you just got to let yourself breathe a little bit. And I know that, you know, I'm hearing in the background, but Gussy, if I don't do it, no one will. If I don't get it done, then it's just going to fall apart. I know that you have like responsibilities. I'm not saying, you know, shirk your responsibilities, the things that you need to do to keep your family and yourself going on the daily, you know, but I'm saying cut yourself some slack on the way you criticize yourself for not doing enough, or knowing enough, or learning enough, or having enough time for so-and-so, or paying enough attention to that person, or responding quickly enough to this situation. I mean, just realize that you're doing a good job. The mere fact that you show up here and have a conversation with me and Grymm a couple times a week, 3 times a week, you know, that goes a long way. We talk about some pretty deep, tough stuff sometimes. I mean, I know that I've walked away from our conversations at times, and I know Grymm has too, where we're like, wow, like that one really hit home, you know, even for us, and we're the ones having the conversation. It's just, there's something about putting the words out there that we need to hear, and that's always what I ask Spirit's guidance for. I really hope that y'all pulled something out of that somehow it made sense to you and resonated. because that's, that's what I do it for, so that we can all, see a little lighter, feel a little brighter, share our light a little more with the world, because the world can certainly use it. It certainly can. All right, let's see here. Boy, I haven't scrolled for a minute. So, let's see.
I haven't seen a new comment come in 17 minutes.
Nothing in 17 minutes. Victoria is here. Oh my goodness. I didn't see your name roll through. Hello, hello. Mwah. And JB is here. Hello, hello. Good to have you. Good to have you both. I hope you're both still here. Looks like these are sort of old comments. I'm sorry about that. Uh-oh. We got a Moonzuma. Did you get rid of Moonzuma?
I've got nothing.
Moonzuma is out there scamming everybody. Inbox me directly. I read your name and I have a strong connection with you.
What was the name of that? Ask Chloe?
Oh boy, you guys, I'm sorry. While I was talking, this person was just...
I'm trying to fix it.
Everybody, I am so sorry. That's such a pain in the ass.
That is so funny because I haven't seen anything since the closing prayer or the opening prayer meditation.
Isn't that funny? So it must be... Who knows who it is? Hey, Genevieve! I'm glad you're here! Yay, she made it! Woohoo!
Give me just a minute. No.
You're removing people?
Well, I gotta log out of me, go to you.
Oh, and Deb Kirkland says that her sister Patty also loves stuffed cabbage. I'm telling you, Deb, we gotta make stuffed cabbage rolls. We got to. I mean, it's been calling my name. It's this, some people don't really like the taste of cabbage or sauerkraut, but man, it's one of those tastes for me that just, it's so comforting. It really is.
You're streaming from Gussy and Grymm.
Yes. Ooh, Terry said we had oxtail soup.
Oh.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. And Norma says, thanks, Gussy, I needed that one. Oh, I'm so glad that, you heard what you needed to hear. I felt a lot of emotion in that blessing. And also, just this whole conversation has felt really guided by, something well beyond me. It's just, like I said, it's been wonderful to be working with the ancestors pretty much all day. My first reading was at 11 this morning. So I barely had my first cup because I get up a little later than other people sort of do. But I do stay up much later than a lot of people do. But anywho, I don't know what I was saying.
I need you to stall for a minute.
I need to stall?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm waiting for the comments to load in our own account here.
Okay. Well, I'll send you the recipe if you don't have one. I would love your recipe, but I do have one. It's in here, because I was old enough before the aunts and my mother started to die. I mean, that's simply what it is. I was old enough to help in the process. That, it was one of those traditions that you slowly, first you learned how to peel the carrots and dealt with that. You did that when you were 6 or 7 years old. And then they moved you up to the potatoes, or was it the other way around? I don't remember. But anyhow, I want to encourage all of you to remember that tonight at 9 p.m. your time, it is time to pause for peace. We mean pause as in P-A-U-S-E, pause as in take a pause, take a breath, take some time to reset yourself. Walk yourself back through some of what I just said, that Spirit spoke through me about breathing, inhale and exhale, and sending that light. Yes, young man in the back.
Spammer Scammers Band.
Spammer Scammers Band. Oh, good. Thank you.
And there's one line from your prayer that I want, your meditation that I want you to remember, because it really resonated, and I hope it resonated with others.
What line?
You were talking about bringing in that light and bringing it to the place that hurts, that needs clearing. Allow it to go there. Allow it to glow there.
Oh, yeah, I did say
I
that.
like that.
Allow it to go there. Allow it to glow there. Yes. Well, and that's, that's what it's all about. It's intentionally setting some time aside for yourself to do that intentional mindful breathing. And no, it's not 420. You know what? I know we just did it just now, but this is you doing it for you on your own, right? For you on your own. Not because you're with a group of us right now or because I'm guiding it, but because your intention is to breathe in healthy healing energy and breathe out unnecessary energy. Breathe in the healing energy, breathe out the stuff you don't need anymore. Let it go elsewhere. It's needed elsewhere. We're all part of this great big, process out here. So breathe that breath out. Send it out with the positive intention of it, helping someone today that may need it, as we talked about someone, crouched in fear or worried about the weather or perhaps war right outside their door. We don't judge. We just know that there are a lot of people in pain and misery right now. And so we share that peaceful energy. And the reason 9 p.m., well, you can pick any time you want. But at 9 p.m., if we all intentionally put our thoughts together at around that time, it just amplifies the energy that we send out. Right? So it all makes sense. Anyhow, so don't forget that. Also, don't forget that if you go to our website, www.openthepurpledoor.com, you can sign up to receive our Purple Door e-zine. I know I'm always pushing that on you, but if you don't receive it, you should, because it's really interesting. And there are a lot of interesting articles in there. There's a lot of info and thoughts and learning that takes place. We focus on a new theme each month. The month of January, we're focusing on the alchemy of the moon, and it's a wonderful edition. I think it's beautiful. Yeah, you should sign up. It's only $4.20 a month. And that goes toward keeping all this going, right? It's going toward keeping this going. And we'd love to have your support. So also, one last plug, the 28th of this month is our Purple Door Witch Wave. And the Purple Door Witch Wave is it's a free event where we get together on a live stream and we do some healing meditation and basically kind of what we did today, but on usually a larger scale. And so hey, there you go. Join us if you can. You're always welcome. You got to be a member of the Purple Door. That's kind of our home away from home, and our liminal space. And just love to have you. So think about it. And I think that's about it, everybody. I think I'm going to go help Grymm put more emails in this thing. I hope you all have a blessed evening. I hope you have a safe evening. And I hope that you stay magical. Have a wonderful weekend.